everybody, how you doing? I hope you're all doing it really well. Welcome back to another meal installation. You guys seem to really enjoy these and I love filming them, so I'm bringing them back. And this week I'm not going to do a strategic 5 weeks, 5 ingredients, that stuff. I'm just going to pick the camera up when we've got some exciting dinners, which we do have this week. And this week we're going to be making some, well, a lot of curry dishes. This is going to be a all vegetarian, fairly easy, fairly affordable, so let's get cracking. So tonight we're having a red lentil dal. We've had some red lentils in the cupboard for ages and I thought, how do we use a recipe that can incorporate that? So we did a bit of Googling and a dal came up. So this is what you're going to need. Okay, so this is your ingredients. You're going to need a handful of spices, a bit of fresh stuff and some oil, and that's pretty much it. And also your red lentils. I got these in Aldi and they're dirt cheap. So we're going to need 1 butternut squash, 1 onion, 3 cloves of garlic, 2 vegetable stock cubes. We're going to need some sunflower oil, a can of chopped tomatoes. We're going to need some cumin, some coriander leaf, some turmeric, and ideally some cayenne pepper, but we don't have any, so we're going to use chili powder. We're also going to need some coriander leaves to garnish, and then we're serving ours with mango chutney and naan bread, and obviously you're going to need your lentils. First, start off by heating up a bit of sunflower oil in a pan, and then I add some chopped onion, and then I just sweat them down with a little bit of sea salt until they go nice and translucent. You don't want your heat too high for this, otherwise they can burn. Then I add a teaspoon of all of our spices, so we've got the turmeric, the cumin, the coriander and the pepper, and then just add that to the onions. And again, it might look a little bit dry, so you might want to add a little bit more oil. And then I just take the butternut squash and remove the skin. You can of course use a peeler, but I just prefer to use a knife, and then I chop it up into roughly equal sized chunks, around I'd say like 1 centimetre. It's just make sure it all cooks at the same time. And then I just add the butternut squash to the pan with the onions and the spices and just make sure they're all nice and coated. I add a can of chopped tomatoes and then 1 tablespoon of mango chutney, and then just stir all that in. And then it's time to add the vegetable stock as well. I will leave all the measurements down below, guys, if you want to make this recipe. And then all we do is pop the lid on, reduce the heat and simmer that for around 20 minutes. And then it's time to add the red lentils, and we just give those a stir, making sure you stir constantly, guys, otherwise the lentils will fall to the bottom and they will burn. And then that's it. You literally cook it for around 20 minutes until the lentils have all expanded, and then we just served ours with a bit of fresh coriander and some natural yogurt, and that is your chickpea dal. It literally takes no time at all, but it is absolutely delicious. So this evening we are going to be making a Wagamama's classic. Now if you aren't from the UK, Wagamama's is like a Japanese Asian restaurant, and they have a very famous dish called a chicken katsu curry, but they also do a vegan version which is made with aubergine and sweet potato. And that is what we're going to be making this evening. So it is quite a few ingredients, I'm not going to lie, however they are a lot of store cupboard, so let's show you what we're going to make. Okay, so split the ingredients up into 2 separate places. So this is what makes the substance of the meal, and this is for the curry katsu sauce. So you're going to need some caster sugar, some plain flour, some coconut milk, 2 garlic cloves, a vegetable stock cube, some fresh ginger, 1 white onion, some turmeric, some curry powder and some soy sauce. So that is all of your sauce ingredients. And then to make the actual substance of the dish, you're going to need some rice, some panko breadcrumbs. You can use regular breadcrumbs if you can't find these, 1 aubergine, 1 sweet potato, and some vegetable oil. You need vegetable oil for both, so I just pop that over there. But yeah, this is everything. Okay, so we started off by finely slicing 1 white onion, and then I just peeled around a centimetre squared piece of ginger. I just used the back of a teaspoon to do this. I find that that's like the easiest way, and just removing any knobbly bits with a knife. And then we added that into a high-sided pan with some chopped garlic and the ginger which we grated, and we just softened all that down in a little bit of sunflower oil. Then it was time to add the spices to the pan, and you just want all of these to really infuse the flavours of the onion so everything is nice and soft. And it was time to prepare the stock, so we made around half a litre of stock in total. And then what you need to do is form a roux. So I added the flour into the pan, just making sure it's all cooked through with the spices, onions and garlic. And then you want to add your stock bit by bit, just to make sure it doesn't get too lumpy in there, and just stirring constantly. And this will form your delicious Wagamama's katsu curry sauce. Finally adding all of the stock, and then a splash of coconut milk. You can add as much or as little coconut milk as you would like. So I'm just slicing the aubergine into centimetre chunks, but of course you can do whatever veg you like. These do work, and this is what Wagamama's do serve. Same with the sweet potato. You don't want them to be too thick, otherwise they won't cook in the oil, but I roughly do about 1 centimetre, and I think that works for me. And now it's time to prepare your batter. So I did 3 bowls, 1 with plain flour, the other with plain flour mixed with water, so that acts as your egg. This is a vegan recipe. and then dipping it into the panko breadcrumbs as the third step, and that's what makes it go nice and crispy once it's fried. And just repeating that with all of the veggies and popping that on a baking tray. And then you want to add that into your oil. You want your oil really, really hot, guys. Not like smoking hot, but hot enough that it'll go nice and crispy, but it will actually cook through the panko. So you don't want it to be scorching, otherwise it'll just burn. And then I added a drop of soy sauce to the sauce just to add it as seasoning. And as you can see, the panko breadcrumbs have gone nice and golden. They took around, I'd say, 3 to 4 minutes on either side. I just kept on checking them, obviously you don't want them to burn. And then you just pop them in the oven to keep them warm while you do your second batch. And that is literally it. We served ours with some classic white basmati rice. You don't have to dish it up this fancy. It's just what they do in the restaurant, which we quite like. So I just popped it in a little mug and it makes like a nice little rice mound. And then we just serve up the deep fried aubergine or sweet potato on the side. And then it is literally time for your katsu curry sauce. You can save the sauce, but we love onions, so we just kept it all as it is. Definitely not how they do it in the restaurant, but we love it nonetheless. And that is your Wagamama's katsu curry. So this is the final meal in this installation of midweek meals, and this is going to be a leek and potato pie. I guess with a twist, we're going to pop some mushrooms in there as well. Slightly controversial, but delicious nonetheless. So I'm going to show you all the ingredients that you're going to need. So these are the ingredients you're going to need. We're going to need 3 medium-sized leeks. I'm going to do 5 potatoes because these are quite small. You're going to need a handful of mushrooms. By all means, feel free to leave these out. I will link the official recipe down below. But yeah, we're going to use mushrooms. We've got some double cream as well, some whole grain mustard, some cheddar, and some puff pastry. The recipe that we're loosely following does use short crust pastry, but we're using puff just because we prefer it. So let's get cooking. Okay, so I first started off just by chopping the leeks. So I top and tailed them and then rinsed them under the tap just to get rid of any dirt. And then you just want to finely slice them until they are nice and thin. And then we peeled the potatoes as well, just getting rid of any of the brown parts or like the eyes. And then I just softened the leeks down in quite a large pan with a little bit of salt and some olive oil. And then I chopped the potatoes up. You can chop these as big or as small as you like. I quite like a chunky potato pie, so I kept them quite large. And then Zara's just chopping up some mushrooms. Again, nothing too fine, just clunking them up with a knife. And you want to parboil your potatoes on a hob for around 5 to 6 minutes until they've just started to soften. You don't want to fully cook them because they'll continue cooking in the pie. Then I added 1 heaped teaspoon of whole grain mustard into the pan and just stirred all that through the leeks. Then it was time to add the mushrooms into the pan as well. Again, these don't take much cooking at all. It's more so a case of just making sure everything's stirred. Now I just checked the potatoes to see if they were done, and then I just drained them off. And then it was time to add the cream into the leeks, and this just makes the most amazing sauce. And then you add your strained potatoes into your leeks and mushrooms and just stir everything. Give it a little season as well with some salt and pepper. And then you want to pour your filling into quite a high-sided deep pie tin. This is a pie dish, and whatever you use is fine. And then you want to add your cheddar cheese. This is just 100 grams of cheddar cheese. You can use whichever cheese you'd like. I've just chopped it up into cubes and popped it on top of the pie filling. And then it's time for your topping. So this is just the puff pastry sheet. You roll it out on top. Don't worry about trimming it. You can just tuck it in on the sides, and this makes it go extra crispy. So I'm just using my hands, being quite delicate just to make sure it's all sealed in there so nothing like seeps out in the oven. You can of course wash this with a bit of egg or milk if you'd like, but we just leave it as it is. I cut a little hole in the top just to let some steam pop out, and I popped that into an oven at around 180 degrees for around 20 minutes until the pie crust was nice and golden and it was piping hot. And that is the pie. Look at that. That served me and Zara for dinner, and there was plenty left over for lunch as well. It can definitely serve a family of 4 to 6 easily. And we just served it with a bit of steamed broccoli on the side. But look at how good that looks. It is a really deep, chunky, hearty pie, so definitely one for a family for sure. Then I just finished it off with a little bit of gravy because you all know how much I love my gravy, and that is our leek and potato pie done. Absolutely delicious and so easy to do. Okay, so that is our 3 delicious midweek meals. I really hope you have enjoyed and follow along at home as well. And if you do, as always, do tag me on Instagram as well if you make any of them, or just drop me a little message in the comments down below, or however, if you have enjoyed them. Thank you so much for watching. There's going to be plenty more recipe videos coming very soon. I'll catch you all in another video. Bye for now.